Hey everybody, welcome to another episode of H.I.M, How I Met. This episode we'll be talking about Mike Blayz. He is a producer. He does music, North Carolina, Atlanta, different places all around the world. He is all around amazing person. So the views in this story are mine and mine alone. Mike Blayz may or may not agree with my rendition of the stories, but these are my stories. That is my disclaimer. So I met Mike Blayz, who had a different last name when I met him. We met in the military in 1991. Yes, we met in AIT, which is schooling for military. We were both going, we were in legal specialist school, so which is pretty much paralegal. So he was in the class before mine, so I came in behind him in the class. Apparently Mike Blayz was a big deal and has always been a big deal. Go figure. But we met, and he was like, okay. I was like, hey, I'm just got out of basic training. I'm just glad that the yelling at me had calmed down. I hadn't even been thinking of like dating or guys or anything. I'm just glad to have a little bit of freedom. Glad to be able to go eat without marching in a line. Glad to be able to sleep in a bed with only one other person in the room. And I was lucky because in basic training I had an 8-man room. So, and in AIT I had 2-man rooms, 2 of us. So I was just relishing in the fact, despite the fact that it was wintertime in Indiana. So a whole other story. So that's where my AIT was, Indianapolis, Indiana. Ground would be frozen. It is cold out there. We're talking January, February time frame. Ridiculous. You hear me? Not where I wanted to be. So so I'm in a dining hall, the dining facility, the place where we would gather to eat. And so this guy is across the room he's doing this. I'm like, what the heck? So I look around, and then he looks at me, he does it again. I'm like, what are you saying? And so I laugh a little bit. I'm 18, so it was funny to me. And and I was like, what are you saying? He was like, oh, I was trying to see if you had some olive juice. I said, okay, that's cute. That's real cute. He introduced himself, and I guess he liked me. I liked him. He's a cute fella. And we started hanging out and stuff. Now, at that time, I don't know what AIT does now. We have different phases. So I hadn't even been able to wear regular clothes yet. So I'm still in military uniform. You can only wear certain things in different phases. So when you first get there, I think it's you have to take your physical fitness test before you can go to the next phase. And the next phase is to be able to wear regular clothes. So I could only wear my military fatigues, my PTs, or we had short sets for legal. We had like shirts and shorts that we could buy for legal. We could wear that. It was cold, so I didn't wear that often. I actually bought a sweatsuit, a legal sweatsuit. So we could wear that. That was it. Only military stuff could we wear until we passed this PT test. So apparently there were a bunch of other girls that liked Mike. So, and when I tell you I was a little naive, I was not naive. I was from Fayetteville. I just felt that I don't know. I just didn't care who liked me, who didn't like me. Like it never fazed me. So I never got into it, and that was even from younger age. I would never get into it with other women for whatever reason. But apparently this one girl didn't like me. She told her friends. So when we took our PT test, the class above us, which is Mike's class, graded us on our PT stuff. So this chick who was friends with one of the girls who really liked Mike graded me. And I didn't pass my push-ups. She kept saying I didn't pass my push-ups. And I was like, and then she wasn't counting all my sit-ups. So when it came time for the run, I just stopped. I didn't do the run. Drill sergeant, now drill sergeant's AIT are different from drill sergeant in basic training. My drill sergeant at AIT he was cool. I don't know why I can't remember his name. He was real nice. And he was like, why you ain't finish your run? Like, why didn't you finish the PT test? I said, the chick that graded me failed me before I got to the run. So I figured, why would I run when I've already failed? I said, and then she failed me on something that she didn't have anything to worry about. I said, to be honest, I might have failed anyway because I'm not that good at running. And it's cold out here. Like, you know, I was honest. I used to be brutally honest when I was younger. I've learned to wear a filter now. So, he was like, so you can do push-ups? I said, yeah, I can do push-ups because I got in trouble in basic training because I couldn't. So every time they saw me, they made me do them. So I had to be able to do push-ups to get out of basic training. So he was like, the PT test was today. Can you give me some? I said, yeah, I can give you some push-ups. So I gave him like 5. And he was like, huh, okay. I said, he's like, so what about your sit-ups? Because you didn't do that many sit-ups. I said, no. I said, I can almost max my sit-ups. That's not a problem. It's never been a problem. I said, again, if she'd have just waited to see what I did on this run, I probably would have failed anyway. And he just kept laughing because he was like, what is wrong with this girl? She's just being so honest. I'm like, it's true. So they waited like 3 days, and then the drill sergeant tested me himself. By then, the ground was frozen, so we couldn't go on the track. So I had to run around in a gym like, I don't even know. I swear it was like 60 times or more. They had it mapped out how many times you would have to run around this gym to get 2 miles. And that's what I did. I don't know how many times. It was a lot. And then they had somebody counting the laps, you know, for me. Drill sergeant was timing, and they gave me a special PT test, and I passed. And I was like, you jealous of me in my military clothes? You wait till I get this box from my mama, because I'm about to show out. And I did. And so me and Mike were dating, and chicks were mad. I'm like, why are y'all mad though? Like, there's other men around here. But whatever. I digress. So that's when we dated. We dated at AIT. We dated a little bit after AIT. We dated in between stuff here and there. Like, we were never able to be together. We never, like, had a full-on relationship. But we always, not always, but we stayed in touch as we could throughout the years. So, there was this one point, by the time I got to Virginia, he came to see me in Virginia, he left, and then I didn't, and again, things were not like they are now. You can lose touch with people back in the day and not hear from, if you don't have their phone number, their address, or anything. And then with being in the military, with us moving as much as we did, people will literally just not hear from people anymore. And I did not, and again, because his last name was not Blayz at the time, had not been able to find him. But apparently he got out of the military. And then that's when he was doing all the production things. He was living in Atlanta. We hung out a couple times in between there. I remember going to Atlanta to see him a couple times. He was doing his thing in Atlanta. He was doing producing in different places. He had different jobs. He was just doing what he does. Like, and one time I was at a show in Durham, and after the show, this is a whole different how I met, but I was in a dance contest that Knife Wonder was talking about. So I was on stage, and then after the show, this dude was like, oh yeah, that's the girl that was on stage. And apparently he was talking to Mike, and Mike was like, I used to date her. And the dude was like, no you didn't, no you didn't. So this guy comes and gets me. He was like, oh, my friend said he know you. And I'm like, cause you know, how they do it. And I'm not gonna say that Mike did me wrong, bad, or indifferent, but he would disappear a lot and then just pop back up. So that was kind of irritating. So I hadn't seen him in years at this point. So this guy takes me, like, this is the last person I expect to see. This guy takes me over, and Mike is in front of me. He was like, "You know him?" I was like, "No." And he took off his glasses. I was like, "No," and walked away. The dude was like, "I told you you ain't know. I told you you ain't know." I turned around and came back, and I was like, "Where have you been? I ain't seen you in years. How you just ain't gonna keep in contact with me?" Like, I just went off on him, and he was like, and the dude was like, "I guess you do know her." And then we became friends on Facebook and stuff, and then I think a couple years later, not years, maybe a year, 6 months or so later, exchanged phone numbers. Dated again for a little while. It just didn't work out. But we are still cool. He runs Cutting Edge Studios in Cary. So got me a shirt. We're still cool to this day. I'm doing some work with him on some other stuff that I'm doing. So yeah. I think that's probably all I got on how I met Mike Blayz. It's the story is never done with him, so we'll see. I just talked to him yesterday, so so we'll see what happens, what work we are able to do together, and how life progresses from here. And trying to think, I have some old pictures. I'll add some old pictures of us on the ends from when we were 18. I need to get up with him to get some new pictures because I don't think we've taken a picture together in years. And yeah, probably do an interview and add at the end as well. So thank you for watching this episode of him on how I met Mike Blayz. Thank y'all for watching. Hey everybody. Thank you for watching this episode of him. That was all about how I met Mike Blayz, and guess who I have an interview with? The one and only Mike Blayz. Hey Mike, welcome. I would bring you on while you're hydrating.
Hey, boo.
How are you?
Great.
Okay, good. So I have a few questions for you. Not gonna take up too much of your time, but we'll see how it goes. You know, you can answer long, you can answer short, whatever you feel like. All right.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. So we're gonna go way back because in the beginning I talked about how I met you,
Right.
and I met you in the military. So my question for you is, what made you join the military?
Fresh out of high school, not really. I didn't. All of my family's educators, and for someone who was very astute in school, just not to take the education route was just my way of doing something different, rebelling. So that's all. I mean, I went. It was National Guard at first. Actually, when we met, I ended up coming back active, but I just did National Guard. Trying to figure it out. So that's all. I mean,
Okay.
it's not epic. It's not nothing. It's just I just didn't want to go to college. Um, I had a scholarship actually to full scholarship to Elizabeth City State. Everybody in my high school damn near got that scholarship and was going to Elizabeth City, and I was like, nah, I'm good. So my folks was like, especially my dad, was like, oh, you gonna turn down money? To okay, well, you're on your own. So I was on my own.
Okay.
Joined the military. Joined actually National Guard. So
Yeah, but the MOS that you chose was not an easy MOS. Like, we had the same MOS. The legal field was not an easy course or class to get through. So, you know.
well, I mean, I guess that was my way of still remaining in somewhat of an educational you know what I'm saying, background or whatever. And going, I definitely was not, I'm not a manual labor person, you know this. So I definitely wasn't doing nothing pertaining to being a grunt or, I mean, I did after the fact, but you know, that was by choice. That was some other stuff, you know what I'm saying? But like going in, where do you sit down and do nothing at? And that's 71 Delta legal, perfect.
For the record, we didn't do nothing. We did a lot. It was just inside, in an office, in a legal office all day. That's what it was. It wasn't
Perfect.
nothing.
Perfect. Yeah.
Okay. And you did very well for how long did you stay in though?
Um, 8 altogether with
Okay.
guard time. Yeah, but yeah, my act.
Okay.
Yeah.
I wasn't sure. Because I think we lost
Sorry.
I was about to say we lost touch and then the camera said bloop. So yeah, we lost touch and we lost touch.
Right.
Um yeah, because I think we lost touch when you got out of the military.
E-
Yeah.
yes.
Yes. So what got you into music? How did you start doing music?
Um, I literally woke up to music. My dad was a musician. He was a um he had choir. Uh he did everything. You know, so he was just literally when I woke up in the morning, there was instruments in my living room, and there were people rehearsing. I sat through choir rehearsals. I sat through. He had quartet. He managed groups. So you know, I just I was privy to all of that. Just literally waking up every morning and being surrounded by music. You know, people ask me that question all the time, and I was like, I never aspired to do music. It was already who I was, what I did. Had one had nothing to do with you know had nothing to do with me. I never forget when I found out that I was I sang in choirs. I sat through so many rehearsals with my dad in choirs and groups and stuff. So I always knew about keys and notes and the pitfalls of different personalities. So I just had a lot of inside information about it was I would say useless at the time, but you know, it just it just kind of helped me when I decided to take music seriously.
Mm.
And I found and it wasn't until I got older and found out like you really could get girls singing. Like some cats were singing, and then I was like, girls was like, oh, he sing. I'm like, you call that singing? No, like I sing. That's not singing.
So since you took it that route, I have two questions off of that.
Mm.
Um, one, I'll start with this one first. One, when did you decide to do producing and music and all that more professionally?
Um, I was overseas when I joined the military, came back active. Um, I went active because my high school sweetheart got pregnant, and I just I wasn't in school. I didn't have a job, so my uncle, my dad's brother, was a career soldier, and he just told me, look, you got to do something to provide for your family. And your military is a great way for you to you don't have to stay long. You can go in for a few years. So I think the legal 71 Delta was I think that enlistment was 5 years when I
It,
came in. Something like the first was 5 years.
no, it was five. I
Yeah,
did it.
yeah,
I did it. They,
yeah,
they did not give you. They said we're gonna give you all this education. You're gonna give us 5 years for
exactly.
all of this.
Yeah. So that was a 5 year. It was 5 years. So we and that was that. So I came in so my son, so Michael could, so I could be able to provide for my family. And that was really that. I went. My first duty station was Korea.
Mm,
So right out the gate. And while I was over there, I joined the Soldier Show, and we got the tour all over the world with the Soldier Show. While I was on the Soldier Show, I was in a I got hooked up with some cats from Atlanta. They were thing we did Herbie Hancock. We did a group called Fade to Black. Fade to Black was a spinoff of a group called Basic Black, who the world would know. But some of the original members of that group, they didn't go with the deal and end up going someplace else. But basically, Basic Black was one of my favorite groups. So
hmm.
I met these guys, and they was like, "Yo, we like what you're doing." I had started me a little group. They said, "We like what you're doing when you get back to the States. If you get in Georgia, holla at me." So country boy. old country boy from a Hosky, North Carolina. I was always starstruck everywhere I went. So these cats, it's no way I'm believing like, yeah, they don't really want me to, you know what I'm saying? They don't really want me to come, come and get down with them, whatever. But when I got back, I got stationed in Savannah, Georgia. And I kind of hit them dudes up. I was like, yo, how far is Atlanta from Savannah? They said, man, about 2.5, 3 hours. So I said, well, my first break, I went down to Atlanta and got on the 285 roundabout for about 2 hours, before I found out where I was going. But once I got there, they were already established in the business, and like the rest is history. So I was put in a lot of positions and met a lot of famous people, like right off the bat. So I was able to show up my talents and everything else. So, I just started going to Atlanta every weekend. The more famous people I saw after getting starstruck, like I would literally, they would have to tell me, all right, look, this is such and such. We're going, man, don't act crazy, man. Just be natural or whatever. And as calm and cool as I am, that you would never think that I was, you know.
Right.
But yeah, I was, that's from a high school, little young kid from a high school. We had nothing there. Like, and I'm seeing all the people that I grew up listening to, like right here at my, right at my fingertips. And they wanted to hear what I got to say or play and this, that, and the third. Yeah, it was definitely a out of body experience for a little while. Then I realized after a while some of them were whack and they just regular ass people. And I was like, yeah, I'm over the whole, just sing a song, motherfucker. I don't really do that for real. And after that, man, it just, that's just that. Over the years and, stayed in it. Music is my passion, so I never stopped. No matter what I did, it was something that I always reverted back to, always. So no matter what I did or aspired to do, because I'm a corporate person, I loved it. I worked for banks and, I've had real estate and, had a dealer's license. The whole night. I love the corporate world, but nothing brings me joy more than music.
Okay.
Other than a pretty face and a smile.
And speaking of that, pretty face and a smile, you said once you found out you could get women singing, you started singing more. You still don't sing that often.
It was quick-lived. It was short-lived. It wasn't I never had the passion for it because being in the industry, like I really go hard at everything I do, and you really have to. Being an artist, you are one of the most. Of course, I played, wrote, sang, and did a lot of stuff, but you are one of the most overworked, underpaid people. Especially if you don't, aren't blessed with the talent to be able to write and produce yourself. So, and I'm not the type of person like if I wanted to. I used to want to be a barber. I cut 2 hairs and be like, I'm through for the day. So it was just like I was never going to be able to beat somebody else's drum, never. So, and even as an artist, when I wanted to, decide I want to be an artist, after I was tired of singing one song or 2 songs or whichever, then I was going to be ready to sit down. So I wasn't going to be able to be that person committed to the music, like to the artistry, like I would be making somebody else be that person, writing for other people, producing for other people. Like, that was, I knew quick that was going to be, what my thing was going to be. So it never was and to this day, I'm not but don't get it twisted now. I mean, nobody wants to challenge me on some really on vocals, like talking about it. Like, you don't want to be on some like, oh, I'm about to blaze up. You don't want to do that. You don't want to do that. But,
And I was going to say, there are people who don't even know that you can sing. And it's surprising to me. And I'm like, how do y'all, and I met you in an era where you were still wooing women with your vocal tones. So I got that firsthand. So
you never told me you were wooed.
Yeah, you wooed me. You wooed me. I still remember it was what was the name of the place we went to? It was like a rec center or whatever. And they happened to have a piano and you played you were smooth with it. You were like, oh, let's come in here and hang out. Yeah. And you were like, oh, there's a piano. That's neat. Then you did it. And then you start
You
singing.
motivated my woundness. You motivated that.
Yeah. I motivated your woundness.
Yeah.
Whatever. So with the interview I did with Gav Beats, we talked about this song that you and him did together that has not been released.
Yeah.
I need for that to be released.
I mean, that's Gavin. You know, Gavin is an enigma. You know, Gavin's the artist of artists. You know, that's one reason why I could never be an artist, because artists be, you know, Gavin's
Yeah.
reinvented himself 100,000 times for himself. The world hasn't even experienced. You know what I'm saying? So he's just now starting to, you know, get into releasing a lot of music, man. You know, so but Gavin's a genius. You know, he's definitely one of the most like one of the most talented people, not even around here, but alive. You know, I've been around the world, and dude is my brother's he's a monster.
Mm-hmm.
Triple, quadruple threat. You know, maybe even, you know, quintuple threat.
Yes.
Yeah.
I still want you to release that song because you told me
Well, I
that
got it. Yeah,
that verse was about me.
yeah,
So I
just
need for the world to hear it. I have it.
yeah. You see, well, you got it. Just release it.
I can't release your song.
Everybody else does it, just release it. It might put some, you know, if it's released, then that might, and it catches on, and that might put some fire in the gab to really do it actually. But we did talk about doing it. We thought it would be dope just because of who we are in the area or something. It would be dope for, and then like you said, most people don't know that I sing. So we have talked about that being a dope thing to do. Just go and let's shoot a video and, you know, show these youngins how it's done.
How to woo women.
How to
That's
woo
what.
women. And show women how to inspire woundness.
Yes.
Right. Right.
Yes. And see, you always have this effect of me. You always make me blush, and you just always make me sick.
We
Look
love each
here.
other. We love each other.
We do. Anyway, so is there anything that you wish you would have done differently on your path and everything that you've done and where you are and stuff?
Oh man. um, if you'd asked me 20, I mean, like a few years ago, I'd have been like yes, but I would say no because no regrets, only lessons. The person that I am now, I wouldn't trade for anything, you know. And I spent most of my life being in my way, and it took a while to get to understand what all the facets of being in your own way means. Um,
Mm,
there are a lot of different facets to that. So figuring those things out, you know, getting the life enema, so to speak, you know, and
mm-hmm.
going to therapy. You know, I have to thank you. I have to partly thank you for that, and you know, on that journey, because something I never said I would. You know, I said I would never do. I don't need that type of thing. But that's kind of what's complacent in our community. You know, therapy and men, and you know, having those walls up about going. Because I mean, man, we, you know, as a culture, we got a whole lot to sit down and talk to somebody about, a whole
Yes.
lot. Just as a culture, not to mention what you personally go through in life, but our culture. So you know,
Yeah.
it definitely changed my life. Definitely.
Good. I would say you're welcome, but I'm gonna. Okay, I'll just say I pushed you into going there into therapy. How about that? I,
Hmm.
I
Well,
gave.
the platform, I mean, you're who you are. You know, just everyday interaction of you was a constant reminder that of that. You know what I'm saying? It's a constant reminder that it was available, that it's out there. You know, so it was always, you know, just you being you, and me having access to you was, you know, just that. So
Okay. Look at him. He done got a call on us because normally that's what happens when you're on the phone
you blow
and
up
that
every time
right.
you're doing something anyway. That's when people start. Nobody literally has called me all day.
Right.
Yeah,
And that's just how it goes.
yeah.
So
Okay.
when you there you go. I was gonna say when you clear your call, you'll come back. But yeah, that's what happens. So, so in that, as you talk about your unpacking and working on your therapy and doing all those things, I have a different interview with you that is with the editor, CPR, which will hopefully be released very soon. And that is a deep delve into how you've moved forward, how you work through love and loss and unpacked who you are and how you got to be the man that you are now. So that is going to be an amazing venture once we get it out.
Yeah, I mean the whole CPR thing, the platform that you're setting up is going to be it's going to be very helpful, and it's going to be helpful especially for other men to see men and women. You know what I'm saying? That have you know, because our stories are very, our stories as a culture, as a people, are very similar. We're just not apt to expressing them. So we're never privy to the identity, to how much we identify with each other, because we such a repressed, suppressed, type of people. Even back in the day, you don't talk about things that go on in the house. You don't say this that happened, and that's it's post traumatic slave syndrome is, not to get too far off on it, but it's that's very real. And it comes, and not even that in particular, but we all have dealt with, but the things that we've dealt with as a people, we had to bury that stuff to be able to survive.
Right.
Our ancestors had to bury some very, very, very terrible, heinous, and just pure unadulterated, hateful acts of violence just to get through the day. I can only imagine how going to sleep at night knowing some of the things that they had to go through affected them, and how and to be able to walk around the next day and still give whatever else you had left to the people that you love. I mean, I can only imagine. So, present day, all of that stuff being bottled up, I mean, it just ain't good. It just
It's
isn't good.
not.
It just isn't good. So, but you know, that's what you're for. And, you know, shameless plug, to be able to talk to someone as pretty and beautiful and as jovial. You know what I'm saying? You just get a plus. I'm just saying that's what you do. That's a shameless plug. You're not my therapist. You couldn't be my therapist.
Right.
But
Right.
but I have the privilege of talking to you anyway, stuff about so many other great things that it doesn't even matter.
But I'm gonna ask you a last question and get you off of here because you tripping. Um. So, what is Mike Blayz up to now? What's next? What do you have going on? What are you up to?
um Well, some of everything. A lot of entrepreneurial ventures into land, real estate, clothing lines, magazines, a book, the music. Always working with some very, very dope artists. Gab is back in the studio. We're doing some stuff. He and Kane have been, nobody knows. Like, we're trying to get him and Kane to do a project. It looks
Mm,
like it's gonna go down. That's Big Daddy Kane too. It's gonna be really, really dope. Kane has agreed to allow us to do like 3 or 4 songs, a little small EP on him, just to see him back rocking. Um,
mm-hmm.
so Loverboy Vo is going viral all the time with records. Got an artist 232. My son Jalen, writer, producer, artist. I mean, singer, rapper, engineer, the whole nine. He got his little crew, his little cats. They're doing some big things. Um, I mean, I'm just surrounded by so much talent, and so much. So to say what I'm doing tomorrow, it'll be 10 new things. So, but right now, those are the things that come to mind, and it's such a array of array of greatness. So I'm also going to do a short film. That's right, it's a short film coming up that we're doing, and I'm executive producing and doing the soundtrack for it. And I'm going to incorporate also. Oh yeah, the purple tape. Purple tape is a tape I'm doing. Red and blue make purple. So I'm doing a C side, B side, Crips and Bloods, the dopest artists all over the world, and I'm doing a cassette tape, bringing back the whole cassette purple tape. It's gonna be
Oh wow.
unofficial. Yeah, it's just gonna be a collector's item. It's not gonna be anything. You're gonna literally have to have a cassette player to play it, but you're gonna want one after you hear all the people that's on it. And it, like I said, it'll be a collector's item, and it will be called the purple tape. But why it'll be called the purple tape is because of the red and blue, blood and crip, and bringing those two entities together on some very positive. Um, Half of the money, half of the proceeds are going to families who've lost loved ones to gang violence. So,
Mm,
and that's unfortunately a lot of people.
yeah, yeah. And it's good to give back, and I'm glad you're doing that. And you said a whole bunch of things, but in that clothing line now, is this part of your clothing line what you have on now?
Well, the Godfather is just who I am. I mean, everybody,
Oh,
I guess here in this area, I guess I'd be considered an OG. It's it's a young cats game right now. So we basically just this is actually designed. Kiesha Designs. She's on Facebook and she's doing her thing with the designs. But yeah, it's basically took the Godfather, and you just put instead of the puppet strings, we have musical notes here. So you know, the Godfather, and the Godfather. The
yeah.
master of the head nod.
You are. Any video that you post, you
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
that's
But
what you do.
I'm making people nod too. That's the whole thing. That's what the Godfather's about.
Yeah. And I see you are at your studio, Cutting Edge Studios.
Yes, I am.
Okay. All righty. Well, is there anything else you would like to share? How can people get in touch with you? Anything you want to close out with?
Everything Mike Blayz, all my social media, Twitter, Instagram, Snapchat, Facebook, everything's Mike Blayz. I've and all in the interest of branding. You see, if and it's MIKEBLAYZ,
Yep.
and that's just basically it. I'm not a social media person. Like so, I'm getting better. I have more content than some others that are may or may not get into the social media thing. But I'm not really big on. I'm big on. It's like it's hard to. It's one of those. Uh, if you're walking, you don't got to do the talking type thing. So I'm usually somewhere doing something and have to stop what I'm doing so the world can be privy to it. I'm still getting used to it, but trust me, I
Yeah.
mean, you just have to maybe catch me in traffic or something like that.
Oh, I know. You are hard to pin down.
That's not true. There's
All
so much
right.
to pin me down.
All right. Well, I'm about to close out. So, thank you so much, Mike Blaze, for allowing me to interview you
It's my pleasure and an honor.
for this episode of Him How I Met. Y'all stay tuned for more episodes. Thank you. Bye.